Welcome to the Good News Naija podcast, where we celebrate Nigerians doing great things and making global waves. My name is Desmond Ebuwa Ekunwe. I'm the host, and we're having conversations with Chief Suo Chapele today. We speak about her journey in the media, the women who've held her hand through her journey, and also her being a female chief. You'd enjoy this podcast. We share something in common.
Okay.
Guess what?
Universities.
It was supposed to be like, oh my God. Yeah, we both attended the University of Benin, and then we both experienced the faculty of arts together. Faculty. And that, so when I think about, when I go through my Facebook and I see the pictures from those years, I'm like, oh my God, this Desmond was very slim, very naive, very different. Yeah, made some really, I was very secluded, very in my own head at the time. But now when people see me, a lot of people that knew me at the University of Benin, when they see me now, they're like,
Is it you?
They are two different people, because people were like, this guy just a run, he go, you miss, go do radio, come back, mommy's boy, go back home, come back to church. So my life was very limited. And now I'm like doing this, doing that. So what was the University of Benin SWO like?
A bit of the SWO now. Yeah.
How so?
Yeah, because...
You caused big for Benin.
Don't be like, say I caused big. Me when we say cut is the oppressed. But for me, University of Benin's experience was the type that there were elements that were there. I'm coming from South, Delta, and Port Harcourt, where there was no kind of melting pot for different cultures. And if you're someone that's passed through the University of Benin, you know the book part, you know the social part, you know the character building part. That's if you're someone like me that has a church background. So there were places to explore. I wouldn't have been doing voicing, animation, or acting or anything if I didn't do stuff, say, from Redeemed Christian Fellowship, RSTF. And there at Texas, they do a lot of the things. Elsa Playhouse, English and Literature Playhouse, my theater from school. That's why I started expressing that most of the roles I was doing, they were male-centric roles, and they let me express. Shama Theater helped me do other things too, so Uniben helped me try politics. So for me, it was a potpourri, but the person I am now, I think if I look back, and when I look back, because I still have a great relationship with a lot of my former lecturers and classmates, and they're like, yeah, Tracy, because then I was still a Tracy. I was not comfortable with being SWO, like our SWO gamer. So it's like Chapele. This Chapele, you always be like this that time, My movie came out recently, and I put the trailer in our WhatsApp group for English and Literature graduates. And there were some lines that some of my former or my classmates and classmates from there. These are guys that are now married. Some of them are now captains of industry and what. I was like, this babe, you say you go day like this, I don't remember saying it. But they said it, I said it. So, okay, it's good to know that what I was once is now what I is now. All the gaps in between, it don't matter.
Whenever I listen, even when in the film, When Love Strikes, you did speak about, you did show the need to represent with Pidgin, even though the other presenter was doing English, and then everybody felt like this was new, this was fresh, this was different. So how much has Pidgin given to you, and do you think people need to adopt it more to be more mainstream in Nigeria?
First degree, 100 level, we had this course that we did, linguistics UCA, and they let us play around with how we wanted to answer the exam questions. And I was privileged enough to be able to, because the guy was a Cameroonian/Nigerian, so it was big on languages that cross borders. So I answered a few of my questions in Pidgin, and he let us do that. And it opened my mind. I realized that there are over 250 million speakers of the language, and that's the most unifying language across board in Nigeria. It's not Wa, it's not Zu, it's not Bia. It's Pidgin. And it's our first way of expressing, and it has given me the world. Pidgin opened me up to Europe, for instance. I got into the museum with other people that were doing amazing work with commentary, thanks to Pidgin. Pidgin made me go across Africa and reach out into people's homes and bring even more women and, people that would normally not listen to a sports, not even movies, sports events, like during the World Cup, we got to have that. I had people that, spoke Pidgin in different varieties reach out, and it reminded me that language is supposed to unify. It's not just to communicate, it's for you to see yourself reflected, and it's such an organic language that if you speak the Pidgin from, say, South, Chapele Creole, it's a language. It's not broken English. It's a mixture of Portuguese. It's a mixture of English. It's a mixture of our local languages. So if people want to express Baba, don't overthink it. And that's the thing. I feel like more people are beginning to get into their local sense. And when you get into your local sense of expressions, it opens you up more. And then it can go everywhere. It can go anywhere. So yeah.
So when I moved to Lagos, I was intrigued by the idea that people thought I was funny. And that happens to a lot of us from
the South.
Edo and Delta.
Yes!
So even Port Harcourt sometimes, they'll be like, this guy's not funny.
You're funny, die.
Why? I promise you, I'm not trying to be funny.
It's the attitude, bro. It's just the attitude. There's something about South people. Not like say, I don't want to say others, not the tribe, but South people. There's the way the humor of an Edo person just is blunt. It just cuts across all the serere. We don't, even in our poetry, in our languages, look all the old write-ups. Our stories, when they talk them, we know they say, oh, I love you like a bed of roses and whatnot. No. So you find fresh like tomatoes, we go direct. And so the things that we compare, we just grab it. And because we grab it, it's like, my God. The minute you see it, you can't unsee it. So people just take it as funny because it just wakes you up. So yeah, you're funny, actually. You're witty.
Amen. So, being from Delta,
yes.
How's that like? Because does it create the atmosphere for you to always be a performer? Because sometimes, like it stresses me out because sometimes when people expect that when I'm doing a podcast like this, I'll now have to be very animated, or now I'll call the drop Pidgin once.
Oh boy, that's in the stress.
So, how do you navigate being Deltan and being the need to always perform?
Area. I hate that shit. I'm sorry. Chimamanda said there's a limited arrangement for us when you have only one view. Not everybody from the South wants to be here in area. No.
It's like shouting at greatest
bobo.
Greatest bobo.
See, it's part of us, but it's not everything. There's the performative thing that people feel like because they know that you come from a certain area, you guys are bold in certain ways. There's the way you talk, the cadence, your timbre, the way you arrange your expressions. It's like, they've decided that this side is only this thing that we are seeing. So they don't give you the chance, or they don't give themselves the chance to experience other parts of you unfold. The pressure is there. That's why you see a lot of people feel like just because people laugh, they can just jump out and say, I'm funny, I'm a comedian, let's go and do. But I've been trying to do stand-up comedy for a minute. I'm learning that there's a science to it. It's not just to come and shout, area, or start speaking in parables. No, there's a pressure, but if you know how to handle the pressure, we have people like the Bovi, among others, that are beginning to show us different ways to navigate. You have an edge because people expect from you already. So unlike the guy that's an Igbo guy, for instance, they give him a bit of slack. But if you're from, say, Delta, you're from Port Harcourt, you're from Benin even, Baba, if you have to come correct. So there's a pressure to it. You can't drop the ball. But if you know how to manage the pressure, it means that the crowd is already open to you. Your audience is already receptive and expecting something. So that means all you have to do is figure out from the things you have, your tools bag, what to serve them. And if you serve them, there's a faster chance for you to be accepted more than someone from another space. For instance, part of what I do is Pidgin commentary, Abby. I could imagine if I was, say, an Igbo girl, and I'm partly an Igbo girl thanks to my mom, right? If I leaned into my Igbo-ness, for instance, it would be much more difficult to a certain level unless I'm speaking it in Igbo. But because, now worry girl, she funny, she go be like worry picking, now worry, now so that they be. it just kind of reduced it a bit. And it's also gave me room to be playful. Because Pidgin, for instance, is idiophons, is expressions, is how you feel. You can just drop something and you can say bobo tigbo. It doesn't mean anything really. But because you said bobo tigbo, the way you said it, somebody already said, but like I said, the guy doesn't do any. So they give you the freedom to be like that. And if you know how to manage it, it can be your super weapon, or it can be the thing that just drops you like a stone if you don't come correct. Yeah.
So you did mention something that was in my line of questioning, because when I watched When Love Strikes, I watched it with about 6 of my friends.
Hey.
And then all of us, I'd engaged your work, and then I'd already made videos and said I was going to post to hype you on socials. But then a lot of the people there were saying, oh my God, she sounds like real Warri Pikin. She sounds like, and I was like, to me, maybe because I've engaged your work over time, I've listened to you on radio, I've heard you on television. Hearing that, I could now make sense of it. I could understand why they would say that, but then it was like, how does that make you feel? Hearing that, the comparison with real Warri Pikin. Is it flattering, or does it push you to want to be different? So
initially, it used to ache me, right? And this is me speaking candidly. I used to be so pissed off. I'm like, I'm different. I don't know the babe. She don't know me. We grew up around the same areas, but we know Waka Jam face to face. At least I remember passing through Tamakolomi and all the local areas that in that region, and I know some of their family members in passing. It used to make me feel one kind of weird, because I felt like, why is it that you don't give women opportunities to just be different kind of women? Just as soon as you decide that this person is only from here and we only expect one voice from here, that means only one person can sound like that and be like that. But now, let me not lie, it's motivation, because she's amazing at what she's done. She's taken slapstick, for instance, and stood strong, and she's made sure that people expect a certain sound from women from our region. But also, it is giving me room to find other ways to navigate. So that you know that there are different varieties of people that come from my side. There are different varieties of women from my side. We can do different things, even if you seem to think we sound alike. People never hear our women talk upfront. Most times, I'm sorry, I could switch a lot. So as I do, if you guys speak Pidgin, I'm sorry, please put the subtitle. Thank you. But people expect that if you be babe when come from Warri, you probably be Warri Pikin. And that's why they tally it to that side. And funny enough, when I was coming up, there was sometimes I'll get some gigs and they'll be like, well, we thought you were this, and oh, it's you. We're expecting, but we didn't know it was you. And it made me feel like more of us need to be out there. More of us need to express. I know there are women that sound like me, they are even more into the art space, into engineering space, and it would be nice to have more of us step out, because there are younger girls that would love to express in certain ways and feel like all they need to do is say, area, waiting they play. Not be all of us they do, area, waiting they play. But if you talk anyhow, we can serve you, like we can tell you, say, we'll spin you, we'll turn around like Baba Share, and you go sit down for ground for poto where we leave you there. And that's our expressions, but there are ways to experience us. So I like doing this, and I like trying different stuff, because as Anita they go, Warri Pikin they go, they set out legacies in that space in our own way. My work now to just they go, so that more babes that where we come from, they can see other ways to express. They can know that you don't have to be one way. You can be any other way. You can take from this and then morph into whatever. So for me now, it's a collaborative thing. When they tell me that I look like, in fact, my cousin, do you know, my big cousin called me in the Access Bank headquarters. He'd be like, say she did there. So he heard her voice, and then he traced that down, thinking it was me. And then he was calling her, where is Suo? And he gave him no turn. And when she turned, I was like, my name is Anita. And I was like, where is Suo? I just said, you just now. I was like, you, my cousin. But that's how people have zeroed their mind, even your relatives, to hear our sounds in certain ways. When you are bold in public and you boldly express in our local way. I'm not now to talk Asha. I'm not sabi they talk all these things they say. Are they shy? I'm Oliver.
So I know that you've had a big media career.
How many things do you know? That's
I know that.
Every time you start with, I know that. I'm like, hey,
no,
God.
okay. So you used to be everyday radio presenter who had a shift. You do the morning drive and all of that.
Yeah.
And then you now moved to doing sports commentary, which is very different. So how did you evolve in the media? How do you work it? Because working in the space you were working at the radio was big. Then now moving to now niche media and still doing well at it. Now masterclass you need to do.
Oh man, I don't know. I was just in a collaborative effort because first of all, most times you have to know the environment. Like we're talking about Unibed. If you know the environment you are at, you go find a way to just try to test things for there. Because when you want to leave like you expressed yourself, you used everything that you needed to use there. Growing up, I listened by Jandos Radio wherever I was in the world to Wazobia FM, Cool FM, for instance. And for me, they were the standard. All them Manny and the Angels, all them, Dan Foster and those games that, they go pretend, say there be Stella or Basenjo people. It was like, those were the things that made me feel connected to more people. So when I started coming up, I started at Owerri. I tried to enter into sports and all rate me for there. I go serve for there. Those when they rate babes normally say babes we talk sports. And because for me, I always wanted to find a place that was easier for me to enter. I didn't feel comfortable in an entertainment space because it felt like you had to look a certain way. Not now I don't they wear wig, they do short nika, they wear quick short. So before they wouldn't be accepting of how I looked or the fact that I didn't look or sounded like the things that they wanted. So I started looking for spaces that will accept me. So when I gave birth, I saw a chance through Brilla and I went and I got it. But the easier route was Pidgin because the queue was short and my son's first birthday. So I jumped from the English queue that was over 200 people, went to the Pidgin queue and I didn't think about it. I'd never done sports officially. I went into sports radio. I got molded there, had my own show inside a few months. It was wild. And then my time there was done and I had to find another space. I was lucky enough to start the first Pidgin show for sports on Inspiration. And they had never done that before because there was this bias then that if it was in Pidgin, it was not quality. It was in Pidgin, it's not intelligent. Baba, people intelligent. I know vocalizer when we say Sabi calculate past me, I didn't need calculator. Intelligence not be by grammar. It's just intelligence is brain. So these spaces let me grow. And for each stage, I go through something, and if the universe allow me, I go there, go express. With Wazobia, the difference between what I did in pay from Inspiration and Wazobia was 5,000 naira. I switched because I was bored, and there was a new project. And God bless people like Charles and Nazudo and the rest. When people were throwing me this, the sticker, Wazobia is looking for sports presenters that are in Pidgin because they had not really sat in sports like that. And they just started doing the first Pidgin commentary from Premier League and whatnot. They had signed the deal. I was like, this sounds exciting. But I get a job already. This was just 2020. Just after COVID, they just started let us do work. I had a job already. So I was training to my friends that I knew that they were laid off or they had a tough situation. And, people like Charles and Azud, when I called him, China Cherry from Taco, they were like, babe, not the throw things they give people. It might be a bigger project than what they're advertising. So throw it, enter. And I went in and I talk to the guy. If you bring me in here, if you give me the opportunity, I have the ginger, I have the drive. You know those things that we used to say because we are selling ourselves as part to Perspire. Bro, I'd not even done commentary on radio before. I was presenting, doing shows, jumping up and down from the Kwese life to the Inspiration life and moving. But this thing long, I did go somewhere because for Wazobia, I did sports for 2 years. And by the time they were having an administrative shift again, there was a chance in the morning show. The same thing I had dreamt about, I had listened to for years. So I was like, bro, when they asked me, are you interested in it? We want to do in-house hiring instead of going outside. And we feel like you have the energy and you have the propensity to take on many topics and whatnot. Why not? Because I was not an original sports presenter. I was doing normal journalism. It's just that I'm not too blow because, I didn't say. So I took it on. And then I saw an opportunity, bro. We covered elections and whatnot. And I realized that, bro, a lot of all this grammar that people are grammaring, people don't understand them. Sometimes you need to break the numbers down. So then even when EFCC and the rest wanted to put some matters out, they could throw them out, we could break them for Pidgin, we could break them. And I realized that, bro, people understand these things. It's just that we're not telling them the language that sits to them. For instance, if you're talking inflation, market woman know what inflation be, because she will tell you, people, they buy my rice normal. But now they buy it like that. Now, without they do collabo now to buy one sack of rice so that all of us will share. She knows what inflation is. It's just that we come in, we look important, we talk over their heads. They know football. Some of my best customers, Oniru, that they go try buy catfish, right? And then I dey price them, but they vibe the price them. You know, I just say, oh, but they worry, I just do my thing, they go for a market too. And this woman just comes out from her store and like, Chiswa! That was the dopest moment because she dey complain, say, hey, let me go now they talk and that time when be so now they talk for inside our what is the town hall meeting. I not agree. She was following me to argue stuff that I played out in the news that we had gone on about. And you know, our conversation led other people to start having the conversation right there at the market. And it was the funniest thing. That they break policies, they tell you, say they para for waiting be the new thing when they carry come. So yeah, they know they clean the markets. They're not the cleaner, they collect our money. Waiting be that you want to talk that time, say that they fridge have been our fridge are right. I was like, yeah, they know what is up. So for me, it made me feel like validated that this our work, especially for media, you know they too they get money per se for this our media work. But when you have encounters like that where real experiences, somebody is actually writing down what you are saying, not in askance or in passing. They actually take them, say, yes, this thing, I want to investigate them, I want to know, I want to follow. And these are not people that you expect, people that feel connected to you because of the way you express. It's an opportunity. So when you ask me, how did I navigate it? I navigated by just finding where the gaps are. We fill in the blank spaces. When you fill the blank spaces, that's how you feel where you are going. I'm not big on, I know where. I don't know where, I just know small. And I don't figure out now in my 30s that nobody knows anything as we all navigating our careers and trying to find a way to feed and, you know, follow up. For me, all I just want to do is, when I'm there in a space, I want to do the best I can, elevate the craft, or at least maintain the standard that I made there. And for you to maintain standard, you have to know the system. So I like knowing the system. Know the system, sabi the system, see where the fallings there or where the things make sense. See how it aligns for you. See where you can improve. And I've been very, very lucky in a way because I got to work with family radio. Family radio and inspiration gave me how to express, how to know what's at the pulse of people. Because all of us, even if you are single, you are forming, I'll be rich till I die, or whatever the line is, living the vida loca, you'll still get a family. You are still connected to somebody. So that opened me up in a way. And in Wazobia, I got opened up in so many ways. And because it's such a big entity, you get to find other spaces. So when they gave me the morning belt, I found a way. It was something that was rugged and tough, but I had partners. I had people like them. I go block them for Kappa. Bros, you know how we used to do? Help me. How do I do this thing that you started and you made big and you made such a big thing and then you still morphed out? And it's like, yo, read. Listen to the news and pay attention. Pay attention. I picked from the duo, called people like Choma BBBO, Akaba. I called everybody. I'm not ashamed. I call plenty. Jimmy Dusu, because I listened to their shows anyway. Even the ones that are in the abroad, the ones that I loved to listen to. Even as silly as them Jimmy Fallon, for instance, that could lighten up the most political charged situation. I listen, I follow, and I found a way to express it in Pidgin. Because in the end, you are not the first person to do it. It's just that you are the first person to mix the ingredients in a certain way that aligns with you and how you see life. So I got that from Wazobia. Super Sports, they didn't give me opportunity to even do commentary initially. So I had to find a way to for there. Because all the guys believe that, oh boy, now they see football. Babe, not they see football. Guests no go fishing and where. They are just there because of presence. But I had partners too. I had producers that knew that something was not there. We'd not had a female commentator per se across Africa. And that's the biggest broadcasting network in these parts. So I knew that there was competitions like Aisha Buhari Cup coming. When women are doing stuff, people manage to throw their face away. And I targeted it. I was like, excuse me, do you have commentators for this one? Can you give me the chance to be the person for this one? I've gone to you now. Can I be the person? And I shook my head inside. And because it was a women event, nobody bothered until I started doing it. And then when the competition started, and they were like, ha, there's a girl doing a commentary. I want to do it. I want to be there. So I started fighting plenty uppercomers. But it opened my world because that competition opened me up to coaches from across Africa, female coaches that were doing well. And the women I met, like Elise, Desiree Elise, the coach for Bayana for South Africa, Messi Tago, for instance, from Ghana, they were willing to sit down with me, break down coaching thinking with me, and let me know what the process was, how they taught. So when I started approaching commentary, I was thinking about it from not just, as a fan, but from people that had helped me see the game in a better way. Try to tap into experiences, people like them, Lanre, especially during the World Cup. So how did I navigate? You just feel them. When you look the landscape, they see the lack. We're having a conversation like this now because I'm sure something in you has felt the gap, the crack. Conversations like this need to be had because people need to see the images. If you don't see the images or the pictures, if you don't see something or a verisimilitude of what could be, you won't dream. You won't know that more people, they do things, so you there, they slack, they say, woe is me. People are finding ways in the system that is broken to still shine their light, to still extend excellence, to still start up excellence, regardless. So, that's the thing, Bill, I don't navigate. And when this year started, I felt like I was burnt out. Because anybody that has done morning shows know that it is draining. It is draining. As much as you give people hope, 4 o'clock will start. Our ratings then were 22, 23. Our morning show had dropped. By the time I was leaving, we were number 2. And that was something I'd given myself. Because every show, every space, you must give yourself targets. I have come here, I will excel, I will thrive, not just survive, I will thrive. And I will raise standard to a certain level, best I can. And so when I left, I was like, man, I'm burnt out too. And thankfully, my organization at the time, they gave me the opportunity too. They were like, we can't let you go. You are still great on our sports because I started with Football Republic and I morphed back into sports. And then I got opportunities again to express in different ways. And that's how it goes. You can't be stuck in one thing. Just because you be odogo for one, no means say others no go fit do better. Because if you don't open up yourself and try other things, you'll be stuck. You then be the guy that's like, that year we used to be the one, so Baba, you can still be the one. It's just that you have to unlearn, relearn, you have to reduce. So that's how I've been navigating with these 3 points of mine. I hope I've been able to convince you of that. I
really do love it. And personally, I've been somebody who's engaged your work even before you knew me. So when I saw a DM from you one time, I was like, so you even recognize.
I'm big on DM, so see, hey, that's the thing. In this our space, it's not just media. People know Sabi, they give people flower. They wait me, they die. I know they like them. You know, the day Tosin Bucknor died was one of the... that day was not a cool day. We used to be colleagues in Kwesi, but we also became colleagues in Inspiration. And you know, because of the kind of person she was, she lived her brightest every time. It was like she was chasing time. For me, my mother died at 39. She died in my front when I was 5. Evening's true. So I've always had that thing that you don't really have so much time. So I don't like wasting time. Not wasting time by staying in a situation that if you feel like it's not giving. And so there was something that happened just before Tosin died. Only very few of us know him then. We're doing a show that she started. She wanted to do more sports stuff, right? Men Cry, something like sports, exploring men's vulnerability, whether men in sports should be crying or men should be crying or whatever, things like that. And we're talking about it. I chat this babe. Well, I don't even know, say she don't go under. You know, I was chatting her. And then 2 days after, I was like, Tosin never answered her. Ha! And then I heard she was gone. And I was like, hey, Kaba. That was a moment that I realized that, you know, they waste time. Appreciate people when you need to appreciate them. I used to beef at them because I used to feel like, why she didn't enter our sports space? And then when I met her at Inspiration, she was so open. She was like, you're the sports girl. Give them, don't let the boys, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah. And then I noticed how she used to navigate with people. Whether you were an intern or whatnot, she let you shine. She was open about expressing. She not a way to tell you, say, I'm inspired by what you do. I'm like, why should they tell janitor, say she get inspired by what janitor they do? They tell Toib. Because the boy, they play ball. It's also they do cleaner work. They also they find a way. Tosin go tell her and say, they inspired. And I was like, nah, there must be something here. She's onto something. So for me, I like they reach out to. And that thing don't save my life. Being able to reach out to people. I like what you do. You inspire me. You are my style icon. You are my hustle icon. There's a way you just go through life. It's not like things are not happening, but you maintain composure. You still keep your eye on the prize. Some people, they are my spiritual icon. In that, I like the way they walk with God. I love their God walk. It seems authentic to them. They do not sacrifice of themselves and let themselves go because they chase their concept of what God is. And I love it. So, that thing does save my life. See how we take connect now.
I know.
Now you say you will give me 2 meats now when we finish this work. You're not going to give me meat. Why you scratch here?
I go give you. So like, you just sending me a DM was just very like, I was like,
because you're dope. Like,
I'm not,
you own your products, like whether it's movie, whether it's series, whether it's your friend's arrangement, whatever thing that you are in, you throw yourself into it. And it was so cool to see. Because I'm very shy, what do they call that? Oyibo ambivert. I did selectively social. Generally, I be shy rat. So when I do stuff, I still feel uncomfortable talking about my own stuff. And I see you just go out there. And I'm like, hey, this guy, I don't know how you do it, but well done. Because now you give me mine, make us even study up my market small. Yeah.
High praise. Thank you.
But it's true.
Thank you very much. So, something else I would like to ask is, in all of this, so you give people their flowers, and then I like that you spoke about how time is a commodity that we think we have, but we really do not necessarily have control of. And you also spoke about the people that have come before us and giving them their flowers as well. So, who are some of the people that have shaped you?
Oof. My mom, Ellen. She was a mom of 8, and she died of heart matters, right? But up until she died, she was doing so much. She was doing school, she was doing masters, she was doing business, bakery, confectionaries, she was doing events. My mom was still doing courses. I think she was on her doctorate before she died, and she was not even up to 40, right? She was big in church, the Anglican church. And my mom's legacy was such that even till now, if I meet people that she had encountered, she was our head of primary education board then in Delta, I think. That young, when I meet people that she impacted, till now they'll be like, Helene. In fact, one of the people that used to be a godmother, that's Omaomi's mother, by the way, Queen Aya. Now she give me beats like this when I was doing my shiftancy. Now she hold my hand. And these are examples of how people live their life. If my mama no hustle, then it's not normal for me to see women. The narrative, and it's a gege narrative by the way, because women, they hustle. Now then they hold society, not be just rhetoric. Now then they run things. It's just that they're not comfortable saying that we are the ones. It's like, my husband. But I saw my mom lived. She inspired me. Thelma Mo, my friend's mom, she's dead now. Gloria Mo, her daughter, she's dead now. These are the people that held me because I was drifting, and they saw me because my family big, and I day among the last set of kids. And at the time, I was the last daughter. My dad had 11 sons. The girls were about 8, I think, And at the time, nobody saw me. Like, everything I did was deliverance. You know how many times they flogged me for deliverance? I can't even know how to scam deliverance pastor. Oh, sorry, priest or prophet. In fact, some of them still get big prophetess church for worry. I don't know how to scam them. I know the price of coconut water. I feel tell you how they take the flog person with guava and stuff. Because the minute you say something that you want to do or you're interested in, hey, now we show. He go confess. They make me confess tire. But my friend Mama, Thelma Mo, she was like, this is youthful exuberance. You're supposed to try these things. If this is what you're about, get on it. And she was the person that led me to Christ too. At least the Christ when we say, and knock on the go back, go, they give my life again every time they do altar call. So like, this is who you are, this is who you are. if you want to be about it, then be about it. And they gave me the support. Every time I had clashes with my dad, and I had to run away, in the sense that a teenage child would want to run away. These were the spaces I hid, and I'll always be grateful for that. There are people now in recent times, but I cannot say I would have been the person I was if not for Etelma Mowo, Luria Mowo, my mother, my mother's godmother, and my lecturers, my female lecturers, people like Dr. Akwemoka. I was working in school, I almost lost my degree. At the time, I was working 4 days in Uniben, because my dad was a traditional sort. He didn't feel like women were going to be the ones that would raise the family. So the focus was on the men. My dad would drop money and maybe forget to drop money for you in another 3-4 months. How you want to cope? And me, in Benin, you have options. You have the GRA or whatnot. But the good thing was, Diajo was doing business across Benin. So I had opportunities to work. And the person who told me to work instead of complaining about my dad is not doing for me was Fumi Obiorebi. She was my classmate, or not my classmate, my roommate from Uniben 100 level, a sister. She also had an honorable father who could be funny sometimes. And she didn't like to complain. This girl should go to work 4 days a week. We'll go hawk beer. We said they were rolling out new products then. Smirnoff Ice, Saxon Brow, whatever. We'll go. They will send us, all of us, then go gather for that center for Benin, that roundabout for Benin then, for museum. Thank you for Ring Road. They will gather us. They will share us to different parts. You work 4 hours and then you have to come back. So for me, most times, if not for Fumi, I would not have been working. I would not have known that, Baba, instead of complaining, do your 4 hours, 4 days a week, gather your change, add it up, sort out your school fees. So it made me know that, I don't need boyfriend when Bison are my sponsor. And that was not me, because I had to learn. I didn't need a boyfriend to sponsor me, because I was working 4 hours every time, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was just that I was taking a toll on my education. So Okorocha, our current HOD now, head of department for the University of Benin, English and Literature, they sat with me. Polubo, Dr. Mrs. Polubo, then she's a professor now. They used to give me money. Yes, in my final year. Say, don't work again. You will lose this, your degree. You go come back again. I had a bully of a lecturer that was trying to get into my pants. And then they would hide him. What if that guy, man? What if that enemy? I don't forget. I save him as one thing for my head. Afejuku, yes. He was such a bully and a mean guy to me. And I almost lost my degree because of that man. But this lady stood strong. Dr. Mrs. Ugu, she's a professor now. They stood strong. The minute they found out, that's when I knew that women power was women power. They're like, you, our student that we've known since, they stood for me. And if they didn't stand then, it would choke me. The last person I'll call is Chisom. Chisom is a mentor and a senior colleague. Even before I met her, she always mentored me. I saw her as the first woman to do stuff for Super Sports as a pregnant woman wearing dreads in the World Cup 2010. I stand for Center for NRA Junction. They cry, they look big TV, they see women when look like me. I didn't know that women could do sports, women that were pregnant or mothers could do stuff. And the seed was planted. 4 years after, I became a mother. 1 year after, I was in sports industry. And when I met her, the vibe is still the same. She's still that person. This morning already, she was already giving me tips on how to do a certain job for tomorrow that she was lining me up for. She doesn't have to. So these are the women, among others, that hold me strong. And if not for them, I for no day. So now, so
I think over the years you've rested on the shoulders of really strong women, and it's so beautiful to see, because we need a lot of that in every space, because we need people. We need to see people that affirms our ambitions.
Oh, yes.
And it's beautiful that you had that. I want to say that it's also very inspirational that you're a female chief. Like, you're a chief.
Yes.
Like,
Chief, when they wear short nika, go pursue me, oh God, I beg.
Chief Suo Chapele. Yeah. It's very beautiful to see. Was it a struggle to get that one from a person who feels like they weren't seen in a family of, say, 20, to now being a person who is respected in society as a chief, as a representative of the community?
For me, it was the legacy thing, I don't think something can be thoroughly bad 100%. There must be something functional, even if it's bad. Every bad has function. And for my dad, he was such a great guy when it came to community. And when he died, where I come from, Alaja, for the first time, people contributed in millions. Yeah, to give us, to help. Because he died by COVID. I was even in Kenya when my dad died. It was not a good time. But when I came back and I saw how the community carried him, I was like, you know what? Whatever faults or flaws my dad must have had, he was just a man. He was just a man. So I would choose to look at what he left that was positive. And I wanted to be able to hold that. So when we did the meeting after his burial, we all sat and they were telling us about the will and everything. I noticed that because of modernization of Christianity, none of my senior ones or any of my siblings were interested in the chieftaincy title. I walked around the community that night. Man, all I won't share you, I with my cousin. And we just trekked around Alaja. And incognito just went to hear and feel the pulse. And I noticed that people in my community were having this conversation of, who would you be? How this guy don't go now, another one don't go, who it could be? And I felt a gap. And I wanted to still connect with my father and his work. So I asked my cousin, but they play the buy suya for, there's this junction, Uviri Junction for my village, where one suya man don't they right from time. So I asked my cousin Vakpo, another fantastic babe. I said, babe, now she helped me gather my money for jam with that babe. She don't let me sit down house. My party like me girls, they sit down house before they go school. My girl no green, another babe. I said, Vakpo, what did it take self to even be, to collect Papa title? She goes, I don't know, they never do one. They never do one for a year before. Now only women shift that they take. You won't collect a prophecy title. Mom, go check. This guy hold my hand. We started walking around to look for all the historians around the village. And within 2-3 days, I went back to Lagos. So we don't put groundwork. Went to meet my king, our Uvi. And we had the conversation. The guy is a modern guy, a barrister, one of the first barristers in Yoruba land. So the guy said, you want to do it? I say, his wife, a ginger woman, full of vibes, our Ovieya. She was like, my daughter, you want to do it? I said, yes, God will be with you now. If nobody said they want him, then you go take him. Now so, then they keep body. It was difficult in that I was worried. If you want to do anything traditional, they'll tell you that there's juju. They go oppress you. You do expose yourself more to people. But that's not how it is for me. Everything was done plain. And the support I had, funny enough, our council of chiefs, I did all the screening. It was like an interview. And here's the thing. Where you come from, they get one priority for where I come from, at least. They'll say, woman, when don't see 5, not if fear 6. In other words, if you don't born 5 picking, you know if fear the 6th one, you know if fear. So I'd already started growing into environments where they'll tell me that, woman, not they do it for year. We don't do that here. So it had similar tones. And I noticed that I was comfortable in that space, that you are not allowed to. Because I'd already started bounce off those kind of energy for the better part of my life. Even when they tell me that you are not allowed to, or you are not supposed to be here, people like look like you, that sound like you are not supposed to be here. I was good with that energy. So when I sit down, observe, I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. It did not drop. Thunder did not fall from the sky. So I went forward. And by the grace of God, within 3 months, in fact, now they plot the map for me. Say, come, so I'll come. I go align schedule. I go tell my office people, see what I'm chasing, see what I'm going for. I'm going for screening. I'm going to follow due process. They screen me like saying a job because it had not been done. When it was done and it became done, I waited for the other shoe to drop. It did not drop. I did not die. And so I had to ask myself, what will my legacy be? My father's legacy as the Okugbe one was that he mostly helped, especially because of our warring communities across, from the Old Bijo community and the Alaja community. He helped to stop that. It still goes on once in a while. And I knew that I not sabi. I don't see my pastor and where we say, boys, they carry gun, they make papa. And they say, oh yeah. I know they do that one. I'm not that kind of peacemaker. But what kind of peace can I bring? So I decided to look into representation. You know, you can make peace by making people know, say, other things they. A picture, like I told, they show 1,000 words, Abi. Videos, they show gazillions. Presentation, when you see somebody, when say give you alternative, it different. So now the youths will they follow up on now. Me, I not send people in the wood like me. Those ones will never change. We are dogged. If they not break our head with armor, we not they change. Now the young adults, the teenagers. So how do we break it? My own form of legacy is a handout by way of projects that speak to them, projects that involve data-driven. You not get data, you need to feed the research. Now, what if you see, you feel conceptualized to a certain level, another new thing. So we provide systems that can give these charges. Libraries that you can read. That's the project that we are on. Libraries that you can read, powered by solar. You have limited amount of data. Students will now fee access them for certain amount of the day. Because this thing costs. And if you stay for village, it costs. So now my area, they start with, go there, read up, go the sites. We're not they let you to enter all that stupid sites, all those year ones. Go where you go fit get information, get and come on, show your ID card, you pass. We're building it in a way that so that it can be self-sustained, so that people in the community too can be making money from it. In that we can do the maintenance from there. The security can get its bar from there. So when you get 6 months of free charge or more, now they drop stipend, whether not for 400 naira to 200 naira, till they renew your subscription. So that you have a place that you can go. You may not have Temamu to hold your hand and tell you which book to read. You may not have the Simpolubu to tell you that, come and do 1 or 2. But you have a space that you, yourself, go there, go read, go check things, enter TikTok. If you want to do robo content, fantastic, because our language is dying. I wish I could speak it more than I do. So now would they try to get to? That's the legacy for me, a legacy of representing. Yeah.
We both attended an event that you turned a situation that would have been tagged as embarrassing to a learning situation where it became like, where an older person expected you to greet a certain way or address them in a certain way. While you recognize that you had made a certain error, you were not shy enough, regardless of, oh, I'm a chief or I have my own agency, I can decide to call you the way I choose to, or we're in a developed world where I can decide to call you by your first name or call you by an acronym that you're known by. But you were able to just forget self, kneel, and apologize.
The Abu incident. I felt it.
Till everybody in the room, like if she had reacted a certain way, they'll feel like, why are you making this bigger than it actually is? Because how have you been able to let go of self in situations like that? And how did that situation make you feel?
So, in broadcasting, they'll tell you that there's nobody that is a Mr., a doctor, or anything. You just call them by their names, even when you have other colleagues. So that was the training we got, because traditionally, I'm a yes, sir, ma. I sabi they call everybody bros and chairman. That will not be hard thing. Where picking, we sabi they call everybody, even small picking, a chairman, bros, senior man. So in broadcasting, because we have conversations a lot with senior people, we call them by their first name. And I didn't feel comfortable, for instance, saying, Auntie Mo, because I know they sabi they form familiarity, even if I don't see you 1 or 2 times. But I felt bad in a certain way because I didn't do my research. I didn't feel like I needed to do a research to just have a conversation. I thought what I knew was enough. So when she said, I'm African, I'm not your mate, this is how it is. You know what I was like? I was like, Kai! Omo, go back to your default setting, babes. There's no story here because this is a senior woman. So you know what you do? Fallout. I've noticed that if I make mistake, just they address them once. If they put airs, now then the thing they extend. It was cringe for me, but I just felt like anybody can be misaddressed. So you know what? Get over it. Do you know the coolest part? The coolest part for me was when I went to sit down, there was another lady, I think that was Tolu from New Central. She was like, we're about to take pictures. And I was like, I was not going to go out. She was like, go out. Come on, go out. There's nothing there. It has passed. And then I realized that, hey, so it's not just me that's here. There are other women here. They are like holding me up. This past season, I have learned that there are women that are observing. They are not just women, men too. But we are all observing. And as long as you move through each season with dignity and respect, and people can see that shine through, I think the right people will align with you. And it was good. I needed to have that because I needed to be reminded that not every rule applies to everybody. This might be the rule, but people have worked hard enough to demand certain things. And as long as you give it to them, give them their respect, everybody is fine. As long as you meet people where they want to be met, everybody is fine. So I like her. It was a teachable moment. Plus, let me tell you the beautiful thing. It turned beautiful even more because I even get 2 jobs from that thing. Because I'm sure if I did the regular anti-mo, that passed. But that situation, I got 2 job offers, and I'm going to be very, very, in fact, in the future, I'm going to be very, very vocal about, and even reinforce the reason why I'm always going to be leaning into myself more. Own the moment and keep it moving. Own the moment and keep it moving. In Latin, they go say, just say make up. As soon as you say make up, now me mess up, that's the word. Now me mess up. I can't say F here. So now me mess up. Now me mess up. If you say now me mess up and keep it moving, everybody moves. Now when they struggle, they say now you be a dogu. That's where egos enter. And that's why we are fighting wars in Gaza. I'm just saying.
I'm very grateful that you accepted to have this conversation with me. So yeah.
I'm very grateful to you too. And if I may be filing, may I ask you one question?
Okay.
So, you know the coolest thing for me when I started watching you and then realizing that you are from Edo?
Oh, okay.
As someone that comes from Edo, we have this idea of a powerful, ultra-masculine energy. Edo guys, growing up, they always have this ultra-masculine way to express. They always talk in this, we cannot bend. And look at you. The question when you ask me, how do you manage to navigate as an Edo man representing without having the need to always want to stamp my ultra-masculinity in everybody's face?
That's such a beautiful question. Thank you so much for that question.
I'm sorry. I know it should be off camera.
No. I promise you. So I was raised by a lot of powerful women. My mom, powerful. My aunties, powerful. So we all grew up together as again. So in my own experience, I saw a lot of women who were very powerful. So I really am very formed by these women being allowed to become whoever they want to be. So sometimes when my ideas of certain things are formed by the way my mom would see it, or the way my aunties would react to it, or the way my sisters want to be like, this is how, why you know Grandma do this thing, or the need for them to want to take up space. So yeah, I really do not express like a regular Benin person. Even the way I speak, the way I engage with.
You grew up, why you the speaker now? What year?
Yeah, I can speak Benin, but growing up, I tried not to speak because I had this false idea that if I spoke the language a lot, it would affect how I wanted to speak because I wanted to be a presenter on CNN.
That's how they made us feel.
No, I really wanted to become a presenter on NT or CNN.
I'm poor.
But that has over the years changed. But I really believe that just growing up with the women in my life really impacted me. And like I always say this, like I have 2 younger brothers. There was one time that something happened to me, and because I'm very in tune with my emotion, and I started crying. And my 2 younger brothers, who are very, very strong presenting, started crying as well. And that's because of the way we were raised. We were raised from a place of where we felt like what affected one affected everyone, every person. And that's not very popular in the beginning, where one person would fight the other person for land or something. So my mom tried to make sure that what affected me affected my brothers. So when we have a disagreement, we make sure that the sun doesn't go down on that agreement. And then we sort it. So I think that's it. All thanks to Mrs. Ekunwe, and she's on my Instagram bio. All thanks to her. And Mrs. Ekunwe, son for life.
Yes, man. Yes, Ellen's daughter. I think that's probably going to be the next tattoo I do, and I'm going to leave it at that. I hope to have a conversation with you soon when we are on another level of this journey.
Amen. I know you enjoyed this conversation with the phenomenal Chief Suo Chapele, and it's important that you support the work we're doing by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our YouTube channel at the Good News Naija podcast. See you on the next.